All right, welcome to the cat anatomy. We're going to be looking at the muscles of the posterior back. That's kind of a oxymoron there. And we're going to be looking at some muscles in the shoulder and in the upper limb and also in the lateral chest wall. Okay, so I'll point out some differences between the cat and the human as we go through. Okay, so we're going to start with the trapezius muscle. Okay, and in humans, the trapezius consists of two roughly triangular shaped muscles, one on each side of the vertebral column. Okay, so close to the midline. And when you put the two muscles together, it makes pretty much a diamond shape on the posterior surface. In the cat, we have three separate muscles that are analogous to our single trapezius muscle. And in your lab manual, you're going to see these labeled as the trapezius group. Okay? Now, it doesn't matter which section we're looking at, we call them all trapezius. Okay, so we have this section here, which is part of the trapezius, this section here, which is part of the trapezius, and then this section here. Okay, so posterior neck at the midline, over the scapula at the midline, and then covering the rest of the thoracic vertebrae, or just next to each of the last few thoracic vertebrae on each side. Okay, so trapezius group. Okay, three muscles in the cat, one muscle in humans on each side. Okay, near the trapezius we have this strap-like muscle. This is the levator scapulae, and the levator scapulae does what it sounds like. It elevates the scapula. Okay, in this cat it doesn't seem to have much of a color difference with the trapezius, but in some cats it actually looks a little darker than the nearby trapezius. Okay, if we go a little further inferiorly, we have inferiorly and posteriorly, I should say, on the cat, we have this extremely large muscle, which is the latissimus dorsi. Okay, and the latissimus dorsi, you can see, is next to this inferior part of the trapezius, has a really broad set of origins that we'll talk about on the human model in a few minutes. Inserts on the humerus, okay, and it's actually the antagonist to the pectoralis major muscle. So our pectoralis major is our prime mover for flexion at the shoulder. The latissimus dorsi is prime mover for extension at the shoulder. Okay, then as we get over to the shoulder area, we have a set of three muscles that are analogous to the human deltoid. Okay, and again, this deltoid group, we're going to call each one deltoid. So here's one member of the deltoid group. Okay, here's the second member of the deltoid group. This is the one that looks the most like the human deltoid. And then we have this one right here. Okay, and again, like the deltoid, they're all right around the shoulder, and we'll see the human deltoid in a moment. Okay, so like the trapezius, three muscles in the cat, analogous to our single deltoid muscle. Okay, we're going to move over to the upper limb, and I'm going to draw your attention to this middle section of the deltoid, which we just looked at. And you can see how this middle section of the deltoid looks like it's kind of coming to a point. And right where the tip of that point would be, that muscle that you see next is the brachialis muscle. Okay, so the brachialis is an important flexor at the elbow, and I always like to think that the middle deltoid in the cat is kind of helping us out, showing us right where it's sitting. Okay, now if we look posterior on the upper limb to the brachialis, we come to the triceps brachii. Tri means three, ceps means heads. This is a muscle that has three separate parts. Okay, and each of the parts has a name. the one that's the most lateral is the lateral head. The one that's the longest is the long head. And then if you pull the lateral and long head apart, you can see that there is another head in here, the one that I'm tapping on right now. That is the one that's the most medial, and that is the medial head. It's the same exact arrangement in cats and in humans. Lateral, long, medial. Okay, and you do have to separate in the cat, the lateral and the long pretty well to see that medial head.